this is a shrimp. I saw you have them in the shop. I talked to many people about this shrimp. I am not 100% sure about having this shrimp in pet shops. I tell this honestly, because 90% of the people I talk to about this shrimp is most of them have difficulties to keep them alive for more than 6 months. So I said, okay, why? They are coming from big rivers that go directly to the sea, and they're in this area where the river goes into the sea. So just maybe 5, 6 kilometers, 10 kilometers up the river, and then, in fact, they have a little bit brackish water. And they will not reproduce in your tank, because the larvae, like the Amano shrimp, also they will be washed up to the sea, have different stages, larvae to develop, and then they migrate up the river again. They don't like hectic in the aquarium because they are very, very, in fact, sensible to fish that are very hectical or something like that. They like a very well planted aquarium. No, wrong. They like an aquarium that have a lot of space to swim, so not very well planted. So because you find them in pools with rocks, big pools of like 3-4 meters in diameter, without like a pool, without anything, and there you can find hundreds of them swimming around. So in aquariums they did not do very well in the last time. So I always recommended them to take them out of the wholesale, because if you have 80-90% bad experience with them, I rather go and say, hey, let's take a look at the other species that do well. I talked to John about this today. In your aquarium they did well for 1.5 years, and this is when they molt the exoskeleton. In order to grow they need to molt, because it's so hard, the shell, they cannot grow. And this is always they pump themselves full with water, extend, and then it hardens out, and that's the way they grow. And sometimes they also feed on fish. And this fish, after photographing here the shock, and he died, and I had these Paracardina meridionalis in the tank, and in a couple of hours the fish was gone totally. So, but they didn't attack him. I heard that some shrimps attack discus, like when they have a lack of different substances in the food, is maybe not enough protein. I heard that they are very aggressive, the Amano shrimps, to discus. When they're big, Amano shrimp can go like that. So if you have 20 in the tank and you have them together with discus, they go and rasple on the skin, and that's not doing very well. And here you can see I don't know if you see it well, but this is where they produce the eggs. You see it? That's all the eggs here. It's all the little white. You can see it better on the computer. And this is the little tiny guys after 1 day when they hatch. And here, this was Stefan showed before, is a habitat in Sulawesi. Sulawesi is a total different thing. And like I said, this is 29, 30 degrees Celsius. It's a warm water. You have to keep the Sulawesi shrimps differently from all the other shrimps. It's a total different water. Caridina profundicola is very rarely in the trade in Ireland. I don't think you will get it. You will get them. I will just step forward and show you some of the picture. Caridina cerulea, also from Sulawesi, and you see they have a very long rostrum. And this is Caridina dennerli. Dennerli sponsored my trips, and we did some research there. That's why. I mean, it's very important that we do research, and they sponsored it, so that's why we named a shrimp after dennerli, and this is Caridina dennerli. Here you can see they don't have very many babies, 6 to 8, 10 if it's many. There's a nice colored one. They're tiny, just 1.5 centimeters. And this is habitat of Caridina dennerli as well in Sulawesi, in the Matano Lake. See that? This is in fact natural aquascaping. I like this kind of things, like Encifera, Caridina encifera, Caridina glaubrechti, and all of them produce 8 to 10. Holtuisi, Licognae, Leae, all of them are described in the last couple of years just discovered, you know. Spinata, another form of spinata, striata, all from the same area. Voltareque, tiny shrimp, and this in fact look like marine. You can absolutely compare them. And here you can see also 6 to 8 babies. A new species from China, Paracaridina meridionalis. I call them camouflage tiger. There's so big variety in the patterns. Look at that. Wild catch shrimp. Have you ever seen these guys? These ones I called Mustang shrimps. They're more creamy and black, or creamy and brown, in fact, also from China. Princess bees from Vietnam. Look very similar to the black and white Caridina cantonensis. And here you can see very well the eyes. Another Mustang shrimp. I'm stepping a bit quicker now because I want to show you some other stuff from Brazil. Filter feeding shrimps. Molluscensis. They come from a region, little creeks that are close to the sea. And the same like with multidentata, the larvae got washed into the sea and then they migrate up again. And the thing is with these kind of shrimps, you have to feed them extra. Because probably in your tank they will starve. They are feeding at night. During the day, usually they hide. And what they like is movement on the surface, a lot of oxygen, and most of the people don't feed them right. You cannot give them flakes that are on the top of the aquarium or on the bottom because they are filter feeding shrimps. They will sit in front of the filter and wait something to come out so they can eat it. But sitting in front of the filter, what comes out? Nothing. So probably this is a really big problem. They starve, and then short time after they will try to. This is unnatural that they go like that, trying to feed. Because usually they sit in little waterfalls. You can find 20, 30 of them just sitting like that and trying to grab something to eat in the creek. So here you can see that. They open up their fans. So if they sit in front of the filter, and you have them, you guys have them as well, feed directly in front of them. You can take a tube, plastic tube, and just put powder, spirulina powder or whatever kind of powder, you know, take these pills and just, you know, and then put it just in front of them. That's probably one way to feed them, because otherwise they don't do very well. Here, Ataya gabonensis, and they can grow as big as that. Did you know that? So not good for a nano tank. Otherwise, you know, turn them one time a week around. Pilipes, another filter feeding shrimp. These are okay for nano tanks because they grow size of 5 centimeters. And these are the guys I told you before when I have been to Asia, and I saw that, and the guy was like, "Zack," and 2 parts swimming different directions. So you can imagine, you know, sometimes they sell it in pet shops as dwarf shrimps, and after 3 months it's like that. You have no more fish and just one big thing sitting in the corner. Really, this kind of things happens. They sold them like that as dwarf shrimps, and later the kids come crying to the pet shop. They eat all my guppies in one night. That's really traumatic for the kids. This is a typical Macrobrachium habitat in Hong Kong. Not much around. And I was there, I was bar feed in the creek, and they came out and tried to, you know, to get my feed and wanted to find something to eat, because there was not much around, not too many fish, so they were not shy at all. All came out. This is Macrobrachium hancocki from Panama. Nice one, but super aggressive. That size, but it will kill a big cichlid a couple of minutes. Ororhynchus from Amazonas region. Tiny, about that size, very harmless. So there's different kind of long arm shrimps, different sizes, and here you can see this was an experiment. I forgot that I have one of these Macrobrachium in my photo tank, and I was photographing Sulawesi shrimps. Suddenly, when I put these Sulawesis in, the guy came out. And the red and white one, he freeze. He didn't move at all, nothing. And the Macrobrachium came, touched him everywhere, and he was not moving, and she leave him. If he was moving, woof. So they just freeze. I was really surprised, because I thought, okay, it's over with this shrimp, she will eat him. But after he was not moving, nothing, she leave him alone. Interesting behavior. I've never seen that before, because every fish will move immediately and she will grab him. She will eat him. Crayfish is not an issue in... Yes, it is, right? We're not in the UK. We're not in England. So, yeah. So we have a couple of crayfish in the trade. Cambarellus, these are the little tiny guys, easy to keep. The only thing that I would say with the Cambarellus, if you have them together with shrimps, for example, Cambarellus pascuarensis from Mexico. Some people ask me, can I keep these dwarf shrimps with the dwarf crayfish? It's a matter of how many you put inside. If you have 50 shrimps in the tank and a couple of Cambarellus, the point is that not always the crayfish will eat the shrimps because they're hungry. This will happen also if you don't feed them well with proteins or whatever. It can happen. Or sometimes the crayfish just want to mate with the shrimps because they see, there's a little sexy, nice little shrimp. It looks like a crayfish, similar. So they don't care. They just want to grab them and reproduce. So what they do is they grab them, try to turn them around and handle them. And the shrimp, of course, they don't want because it's not right. So they try to escape. And in this moment, they hurt the shrimps, and oftenly so bad that they will not survive. I saw this many, many times that this happened, not because they wanted to eat them, but they tried to turn them to mate with them. So I think in a nano aquarium with 30 liters, if you have 10 shrimps and 2 crayfish, probably not too much will happen. But you have a higher 30 shrimps and 6 crayfish, the chance is high that the crayfish will slowly but surely damage the shrimp. So I would not recommend it like that. And here you can see how they reproduce. They carry the eggs on the underside of the pleon. It's not an abdomen because it has the little feet on it. Like the spiders, they have no feet on it, so you can call it abdomen. This is called pleon. And here you can see the babies, sometimes up to 60. And this is shortly after hatching. Cambarellus pur. I introduced about 400 crayfish to the trade. I catched 500 species myself. I did the crayfish atlas, for example. Here's one that I bred. I think I was the first guy in Europe to breed the blue aleni. And in that times, one of the females costed about 400 I think it was Denmark still, so 200 euros. And I just gave them away because I wanted that people have them. Because this was a politics thing. The breeders in the States, they didn't want to spread the females, so they sold just only males. So I said, hey, I will go to Florida, catch some and just, you know. So I did it, and then we spread them. I will go out now. I will show you some things of, let's see. Papua New Guinea was an incredible experience. I have been there on a trip. Very interesting because not many people have been there. This area, for example, was closed for 60 years or something because 60 years ago they cut the heads off of some missionaries, and the government of Indonesia, they just closed the area because they didn't want to have any trouble. So we have been the first people, scientists, to go there to do some research. And it was super difficult. It was, first of all, it was not easy to get there because if you fly from Frankfurt to Jakarta via Oman or whatever, it is 15 hours. Then from Jakarta you have to go to the island, to Papua New Guinea, to Jayapura. It's another 5 hours. And I was on a plane and I asked the guy, so how many planes you lose in the month or in the year? I said, well, last month we lost 2. Lion Air. And it was recently on the news. I saw Lion Air. They went over and they landed in the sea. It was just recently on the news, Lion Air. So another 5 hours from Jakarta to Jayapura. And then from Jayapura is the most dangerous because they have no regular flights. They use these missionary flights. And we went to the airport, and the guy said, well, you have to put you on a weight because every kilo counts. So we didn't eat in the evening. We left half of the things there because he didn't want to eat just 600 kilos and not a gram more. So we really put all away the stuff and our clothes. And then in the morning, we arrived 6 o'clock at the airport. Of course, the plane was not there because it was a little Cessna, and they had to put the chairs inside. They still were, like putting chairs inside and fixing things, changing the motor, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And then the plane started, and really, they lose a lot of planes in Indonesia because it's not really controlled, and some of these airlines are not allowed to land in Europe because problems. So, and then we wanted to land. Finally, we saw Ernarotali, a little village, and we wanted to land. They told us we cannot land because there are some pigs on the runway, on how you call it, runway. Yeah. So first we had to have another round, and then they had to put away the pigs and everything, and then we could land. And then everybody, the whole place was come and see us because I still have long hair, and they touch you and everything. So it was very entertaining because we have been the first white people to be there in 60 years. And this was when we were to land there. Very untouched of scientists, of course, people there. And these in fact, are the ways of the boats. They go with the boats there. That's why you can see that. This is Lake Paniai. Just one street going through the whole island, and it's a big island. This is another lake. I was looking for crayfish there, and this is what do you think? When was this? What time? It's a photograph from a Dutch guy. Yes, absolutely. In 45, 50s, and you think you are back in Stone Age. And meanwhile, they have cell phones, but they cannot use them because there's no... but they have cell phones, and they have solar systems, and, it doesn't fit because I was there. They have still these little huts there, the things, and in front is a cellular panel. I was like, what? This don't fit to my romantic illusion of being in the jungle. And the thing was, I want to tell you this little story, and then I think we will finish. Papua is very difficult to work. I was there, and we stopped at a cave, and I said, okay, this is a chance for me to go and see if there's crayfish, because in the area were crayfish. I went inside, I found a couple of crayfish, and suddenly I heard outside a big scandal. The whole town was there, and they accused me that I took the holy crayfish, because this was a holy cave. I didn't know it. I went inside, collected the crayfish, but the crayfish, if the crayfish go up, let me tell it this way, pregnant women go inside the cave. If the crayfish walks up, it will be a boy. Huh? If the crayfish goes down, it will be a girl. And now I collected the crayfish. That means, you know what that means? That means no kids anymore. And they have been so angry that they wanted to kill us. And in Papua, still they have these wars, They fight each other with bow and arrow, these guys. And it was difficult to escape of this situation. In fact, we jumped into the cars and tried to reach the next police station, which was a couple of kilometers away, with two guys with machine guns. They were the only guys with machine guns in the whole area, 600 kilometers radius. And I had some students with me, they peed on themselves because I thought it's over now. They will kill us. I was more relaxed because I thought, okay, it's a bit difficult the situation, but we will get out. But no, we had to stop the work. We had to leave the place because with the drums, they informed the whole area that white people come to eliminate the population of. We try to explain them that this is science, and this they don't want to listen. For them, still they believe in ghosts and stuff like that, and that I was in the cave to eliminate the population. So we had to leave. But before that, always was funny work with these guys because a guy from a mining company, they have some mining companies there, very difficult. He told me so difficult to work with these people. They bought land of them and they wanted to build a house. And the Papuanis said, okay, you bought the land, you can build a house. And then they started digging and everything. Next days, the Papuani came and said, hey, the land that we sold you, you put it away. It's gone. You transport it away. The land under, you have not bought that. And the mining company, Australian mining company, they said, what? And they had to buy the land down again, like 3 meters deep. They bought it again. Then they built a building that was high, you know, because they made the tower and everything to work. Papuanis say, no, you don't pay the air. You just paid the ground. So they had to pay again. Okay, they paid again. And then still the Papuanis went inside because there were palm trees. And they said, you didn't pay the palm trees and their coconuts. We're going to have them because you didn't pay the palm trees. And that's the way it goes in Papua. It is really difficult to work. We have been on the middle of the lake in a boat with half of the tribe because, you know, everybody's the boss there. You talk to one person and say, who's the boss in this tribe? We want to collect in this area. We need the permission because you have to ask for permission. The tribe, I am the boss. Okay, the boss, you pay him. 10 minutes later, big discussion, come another guy. Well, I'm the boss. He's not the boss anymore. You have to pay him again. And in the end, we had in this little boat 10 people sitting, 6 Papuanis and us, 6 bosses. Everybody wants to pay. And on the middle of the lake, they told us, well, everybody of us wants now cigarette money because otherwise we cannot bring you back. So we had to pay them the cigarettes and everything. And then we asked for, so where can we work? What is the area? No, this is a sacred area. You cannot work there. But if you pay 100,000, you can work there as well. And this is the way how it's going there. So it was super difficult. It's a nice place. I found a lot of interesting things and some species. And this is my new friend on Facebook. No, he don't have Facebook, but this is the way how they're still naked and they still have bow and arrow. And the funny thing was that I was in the middle of the river photographing underwater. Suddenly I heard a guy screaming in some language I didn't understand. I said to my guide, what is he telling me? Well, you cannot be in the water. It's his property. And I said, okay, his property. I was so angry that I said, I will go and talk to him, and if he wants to, you know, he was like this, and I was in front of him, so, but he had a bow and arrow that was like that. So I said, look, I went there, and I said to the guys, the guy from the university, give me your money. I want your money. Give me all your money. It was about 90 euros, but in Indonesian money was a staple like that. I went to the warrior. It was a warrior. He was really scary, like with bow and arrow and trying to shoot and whatever. I went there and said, look, my friend, here's the money. Give me your bow and arrow. And he gave it to me, and he looked at the money, looked at me, and he went. And the next morning, I had all the warriors in front of my house. They wanted to sell me their bows and arrows. And now I have them at home. And when I came home, I said, okay, they gave me 3 different kinds of arrows. And one guy explained me, so one is for the pigs. They have a different shape. One is for the birds, totally different. And one is for humans. And they are more with all these things, so you cannot take it down. Because I would like to thank everybody that you took your time on a Saturday. I know it's valuable time that you came here. I want to thank my sponsors. Not you. This time not you. These guys. I would like to thank them. They are my sponsors as well. It's not possible to do so many trips and so many things without having people that support me. And also I would like to thank you. You also support me. And like I said, I want to give something back. That's why I brought the posters. Next time I bring everybody a book. Let's see.
I suppose what we'll do now, if you want, we'll take a break for 10 minutes. Anyone who wants to go can go, and we'll maybe have a question and answer session afterwards. And yeah.
Yeah, that is paid then. Yeah. We'll just walk around.
We'll be able to feed him apple pie.